Imagine you're just casually scrolling on your phone, right? You add a sleek velvet couch to your digital cart, then maybe a pair of designer sunglasses.
Sounds like a standard Tuesday night.
Right, standard Tuesday. But then, right before you hit checkout, you just, toss in a live 150-pound camel.
Yeah, which sounds completely absurd to a lot of us.
It does. But you enter your payment info and the transaction just clears. And that isn't a glitch in the matrix. That is a real high-stakes digital transaction happening right now.
It really is. It totally shatters the Western assumption of what online shopping actually looks like.
Exactly. We've been conditioned to view e-commerce as this frictionless magic trick. You tap a button and a cardboard box just materializes on your porch a day later.
Right, but true digital commerce, especially in emerging markets, it's intensely physical, it's highly chaotic, and it involves moving massive amounts of real-world weight.
And that brings us to the focus of today's deep dive. We are looking at a stack of incredibly detailed sources. We've got product catalogs, technical blueprints, video demonstrations, and executive transcripts.
And they're all from this company called ATMC.
ATMC, yeah. They are quietly architecting the digital retail infrastructure across some of the fastest growing economies on Earth. And the sheer scale here is just wild.
Oh, it's massive. We were talking about over 200 distinct applications. And they're deployed across more than 40 countries.
Which is, that's huge.
Yeah, and they aren't just launching apps for fun, ATMC is laying down the underlying digital plumbing for entire nations. If you look closely at their technical documentation...
They're providing what their executives call Amazon-level logistical oversight, right?
Exactly. They are digitizing everything from the factory floor all the way down to the delivery moped.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if you as a listener want to understand how a company delivers an entire business in a box to a fragmented regional economy, you really have to start where the customer starts.
The storefront.
Yeah, the storefront, the catalog. And their catalog philosophy is literally just sell anything.
Sell anything, yeah.
I was looking at their multi-vendor marketplaces, these digital hypermarkets, and they handle an insane breadth of categories.
You really do. You have the standard retail pillars you'd expect, right?
Oh.
Fashion, electronics.
Books, footwear, toys, yeah. The system seamlessly handles these multi-category, multi-brand environments, but then you flip deeper into the product catalogs and you find these hyper-specific standalone platforms.
Like an eyewear app?
Yes. A dedicated e-commerce app just for eyewear, another massive platform entirely for furniture, and, as we mentioned earlier, a fully realized mobile platform designed specifically for livestock.
Literally buying and selling goats, sheep, and camels online.
And, I buy the multi-category idea for normal retail, but selling a live goat online...
It sounds wild, I know.
It introduces incredible physical liabilities. Like, you are dealing with veterinary certificates, transport laws, proof of life. Software can't possibly manage that level of real-world messiness, can it?
Well, in agricultural economies, livestock trading is one of the most critical financial pillars. Bringing that into a digital marketplace isn't a gimmick at all. It's a profound economic shift.
So it brings transparency to pricing, then?
Exactly. And it connects isolated farmers to national buyers. To make that level of diverse commerce possible, ATMC had to build an architecture that just absorbs the complexity.
Right, because you have different languages, different currencies.
Exactly. Their platforms handle multi-language and multi-currency support instantaneously. They integrate traditional local banks alongside, Stripe, PayPal, and even crypto wallets.
Wow, even crypto wallets.
Yeah. The software basically offloads all the friction of the transaction so the farmer can just focus on the livestock.
Wait, hang on. If I am building what is effectively a massive digital shopping mall where absolutely anyone can rent a space, I see a massive structural problem here.
Well, what's that?
If you have a platform complex enough to sell a designer shoe, a lawnmower, and a goat simultaneously, how does the user not just drown in a sea of irrelevant products?
That's a great question.
Like, the sheer volume of inventory would make the search function totally unusable.
Right. What's fascinating here is how ATMC manages that potential chaos through tiered architectural solutions.
Okay, tiered solutions. Like what?
Well, they offer what they call the power market and the enterprise mega platform. They don't just, dump millions of SKUs onto a single screen and hope for the best.
So how do they actually filter it without trapping users in some rigid, clunky menu?
Through custom AI models and advanced behavioral analytics.
AI, of course.
Right. The mega platform tier operates by constantly analyzing user behavior in real time. The system learns.
So it adapts to what I'm clicking on.
Exactly. If you frequently search for agricultural feed, maybe tractor parts, veterinary supplies, the underlying AI dynamically reconfigures the entire storefront just for you.
Oh, wow. So it pushes the livestock vendors and farming equipment to the top of your feed?
Yeah, and it buries the high-end fashion and footwear.
Mm-hmm.
The app literally morphs based on who is holding the phone.
That is, I mean, the AI is essentially acting as a personalized personal shopper, just curating this infinite warehouse into a manageable boutique.
That's a perfect way to put it. It ensures the user experience remains organized, no matter how vast or, quite frankly, bizarre the total inventory gets.
I mean, that makes sense on the screen. But a beautiful, infinite, AI-curated digital storefront is completely useless if the underlying transaction engine fails.
Right. The plumbing has to work.
Exactly. You say the AI manages the chaos on the screen, but what happens when that personalized order hits the real world? Like, a smart screen doesn't fix a broken delivery network.
Which brings us to the core of their operation. When we analyze the technical architecture in these sources, ATMC breaks their ecosystem down into 4 distinct, highly synchronized pillars.
Okay, 4 pillars. Let's hear them.
You have the web admin panel, the buyer apps, the vendors or seller apps, and the delivery rider apps.
Okay, let's ground this in a real-world scenario for you listening.
Yeah.
Think of it like a restaurant, right? The buyer app on your phone is the menu. The seller app is the kitchen, where the merchant receives the ticket and packages your order. The delivery app is the waiter taking the food to your table.
And the web admin panel.
That's the restaurant manager sitting in a centralized back office, analyzing the books and making sure the whole operation is running smoothly.
That restaurant analogy works really well for the structure. But the environment where this restaurant operates is incredibly hostile to digital systems.
What do you mean by hostile?
Well, in many emerging markets across Africa, Asia, or the Middle East, formal, standardized street addresses simply do not exist.
Right. You can't just type 123 Main Street into a GPS and expect a smooth drop-off. So how does the waiter not get lost?
So ATMC focuses heavily on logistics and last-mile capabilities. To ensure the delivery doesn't fail, their architecture relies on extreme processing speeds and edge computing.
Edge computing, meaning they process the data closer to the actual user?
Exactly. They guarantee sub-2-second page load times by doing that, rather than pinging a server halfway across the world.
Okay, I understand the speed aspect, but I'm kind of hung up on the connectivity issue.
The dead zones.
Yeah, you're talking about dense urban grids with massive dead zones. If the rider drops offline, how on earth can they navigate or even log a drop-off? Like, where does the data go if there's no internet?
They utilize PWAs,
Yeah.
that stands for Progressive Web Apps, and they are built specifically with an offline-first architecture.
Wait, offline first. For an internet-based delivery platform.
I know, it sounds like a paradox, but it is actually a survival mechanism.
How so?
If a delivery rider loses their cellular connection while navigating, say, a maze of alleyways, the app doesn't crash. It doesn't freeze with that awful loading wheel.
Okay, so what does it do?
The offline-first architecture allows the app to cache the necessary mapping, routing, and delivery data locally on the phone's physical memory before they even enter the dead zone.
Oh, I see. So it's like a submarine.
A submarine.
Yeah, the rider gets their orders while at the surface, where there's a signal. Then they dive into the offline urban canyon, and they operate entirely on local instruments.
That is a perfect analogy, actually.
And they can still complete the delivery, capture a digital signature, or even take a photo of the drop-off, and the app just holds on to that information locally.
Exactly. And the moment that submarine surfaces like, the second the phone detects even a weak data signal, it silently and automatically syncs all that cached telemetry back to the web admin panel.
So a central manager sees the completed delivery without the rider ever having to manually refresh the app or anything.
Right. It is building software to respect the physical environment, rather than demanding the physical environment magically conform to the software.
That's brilliant. But how do they solve the lack of street addresses?
Well, the delivery management systems don't rely on street names at all. They use live route tracking with dynamic latitudinal and longitudinal pinging.
Okay, so pure GPS coordinates.
Yes, and the software calculates the most fuel-efficient delivery routes based on real-time data. It factors in local traffic patterns and known road closures, and most importantly, the specific vehicle's load capacity.
Wow. So it ensures the rider is always on the most optimized path to a precise coordinate, completely bypassing the need for a formal street sign.
Exactly.
Okay, so the delivery mechanics are rock solid. But we need to zoom out a bit. Physical goods still have to be manufactured, stored, and moved long before they ever end up on a moped.
Very true.
How does ATMC prevent this massive digital ecosystem from just collapsing under the sheer weight of physical supply chains?
You're hitting on a crucial point that's detailed in the executive transcripts. A really common trap is assuming e-commerce is just the act of clicking buy.
Right, the shiny digital button on your screen.
Yeah, but that button is merely the final millisecond of a massive industrial process. To understand how ATMC bridges the physical and the digital, we really need to trace a product through their digitized chain.
Okay, let's trace it.
Let's look at something super mundane. The single bar of soap.
A bar of soap. I'm with you.
So it starts at a regional manufacturing plant. The plant uses ATMC's enterprise resource planning software to manage their raw materials and oversee the factory floor.
Makes sense.
When that physical bar of soap rolls off the assembly line, it gets slapped with a barcode. And at that exact moment, it is logged into a centralized cloud inventory system.
Oh, I see. It has a digital twin now.
Exactly. The physical object is now bound to its digital record. Next, a wholesale distributor buys a pallet of that soap. The distributor is also running ATMC software.
So the systems talk to each other.
Yes, they use an API. Think of it as a digital universal translator. It allows the distributor's older accounting software to speak directly to the manufacturer's cloud.
So the digital twin moves to the distributor's ledger without a human being having to sit there and manually type like 10,000 bars of soap into a spreadsheet.
Zero manual entry, which means zero human error. Then, the physical soap arrives in the local retail supermarket. A customer picks it up, walks to the counter, and the cashier scans the barcode using ATMC's retail point-of-sale system.
And this is the exact moment all the plumbing connects, right?
Yes. The second that barcode beeps, a cascade of automated digital events triggers instantly. Well, the system deducts that one bar of soap from the local store's inventory. It updates the central accounting ledger to reflect the revenue. But here is the critical part.
Okay, what's that?
If that single scan drops the store's overall soap inventory below a specific algorithmically determined threshold, the system automatically pings the regional distributor to trigger a restock order.
Wow, all from a single beep at the cash register?
Yep, all automatic.
But, I mean, why does that fundamentally matter? Why is that better than a store manager just looking at the shelf, seeing it's empty, and ordering more soap?
Because it fundamentally changes the economics of the small business. A regional supermarket has limited working capital, right?
Sure.
If a store manager relies on manual counting, they tend to overorder to prevent empty shelves. That traps their precious cash in dead inventory like soap that just sits in the back room for months.
Right, capital that isn't doing anything.
Exactly. By using predictive algorithms, ATMC's system ensures the store only orders exactly what it needs, exactly when it needs it. It frees up their capital to invest in other areas of the business.
And it gives them an overwhelming data advantage, too. The store owner can pull up a tablet and see not just that they sold soap, but that a specific brand is selling 40% faster on a Tuesday afternoon than it did on Monday morning.
Yes, and they can instantly push a targeted promotion to their buyer app to capitalize on that trend.
So it shifts an entire regional supply chain from a reactive stance to a proactive one.
That's exactly it.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting to me. We're talking about predictive algorithms, API handshakes, dynamic pricing, and edge computing.
Heavy-duty tech.
Yeah, you are dropping highly sophisticated global enterprise software into regional economies, and that highlights a massive human bottleneck.
Oh, absolutely. The skills gap.
Right. You can give a regional wholesale distributor the absolute equivalent of a Formula One racing car. But if their warehouse staff doesn't know how to read the dashboard, or if the manager doesn't trust the analytics,
then that software is just a very expensive paperweight.
Exactly. You can't just email a link to an app and expect a third-generation paper-based trucking company to transform overnight.
And that is exactly why ATMC's strategy relies so heavily on their human network. They deploy this business in a box through a massive, structured network of local channel partners and franchisees.
Talk to me about these partners, because looking at their sales channel policy document, they have master franchisees earning a massive 35% commission.
It's a huge cut.
That is an enormous slice of the pie to give away. Why is the commission so high?
Because those franchisees aren't just salespeople flipping software licenses. They are acting as embedded change management consultants.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, they are local entrepreneurs who know the culture, they understand the business environment, and they have established trust within the community.
They know the hospital administrators, the supermarket owners, the local dispatchers.
Exactly. ATMC provides the world-class, ready-made technology from their headquarters, but these local partners are the ones navigating the human friction on the ground in cities all across emerging markets.
So they earn that 35% because they have to convince a stubborn warehouse owner to, put down the clipboard and trust the tablet.
Right. The local partner basically acts as the human API.
The human API, I love that.
They translate the high-tech dashboard into local cultural and business terms. They train the staff, they troubleshoot the offline first syncing issues, and they hold the client's hand through the transition.
So it's this necessary fusion of global software with high-touch local relationships.
Exactly. Without the franchised retranslating the value of the technology, the entire ecosystem stalls.
This completely reframes the narrative for me. If you are running a business today and you think e-commerce just means setting up a slick digital storefront to sell a few products, ATMC's model is a massive wake-up call.
It really is. True e-commerce isn't about the flashy front-end app.
No, it's about deeply integrated end-to-end digital supply chains. It's about software that can seamlessly track a product from its raw material state in a factory through a complex logistics network over spotty cellular connections.
All the way to a buyer's doorstep.
Exactly, without dropping a single packet of data.
The storefront is just the tip of the spear. The real innovation is the invisible infrastructure that makes the entire transaction economically viable.
But as we look at the sheer scale of this invisible infrastructure, I want to leave you, the listener, with a larger question to ponder. As we comb through these technical sources, a pattern emerged.
It's a very interesting pattern.
Yeah, ATMC isn't just building e-commerce tools. They are architecting massive fintech banking systems. They're building electronic healthcare records for hospitals. They are even designing e-government portals for citizen identity and tax management.
Utilizing biometric registration and centralized ledgers, no less.
And all of these platforms, the digital hypermarkets, the hospitals, the banks, the government tax portals, they are all being built on the exact same underlying APIs and cloud architecture.
Which is a staggering amount of consolidation.
It is. So if a single technological ecosystem is tracking the bar of soap from the factory, routing the delivery rider through the city, managing the local bank's ledgers, and storing a citizen's tax profile.
What happens when all that granular retail data seamlessly integrates with banking and government identity portals?
Right. When every commercial transaction, every physical movement, and every civic identity is routed through one unified digital plumbing system who holds the ultimate power in a fully interconnected digital nation?
It moves way beyond commerce into the realm of total systemic visibility. It's definitely a critical question to consider as these digital infrastructures continue to expand globally.
It certainly is. Keep questioning the systems operating just beneath the surface of your screen, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.